Hello and welcome back to Cycling with Russ. So we're almost at the end of the year and I feel that now's a good time to review the last 12 months of my cycling journey, set some goals for 2025 and then also say some thank you to some people who have helped me along with my journey this year, because let me tell you, it's been one epic adventure. So first off, I'm going to start with Zwift. Now, goals that I set at the beginning of the year for Zwift, I didn't really have any if I'm honest with you, in terms of the routes and courses and whatnot. Zwift for me is a training tool. Now, in saying that, I did have a goal in mind that I wanted to do. Now, can't remember whether I mentioned this on the channel, but last year, I need to grab my phone because I've got some notes on it. So last year, I managed to hit a PR on Alpe de Zwift, and I managed to get myself up there in 1 hour, 9 minutes and 56 seconds. I dipped under the 1 hour and 10 mark. And this year, I wanted to go sub 60 minutes. Now, I haven't achieved that. However, in saying that, I come very, very close. So a few weeks ago, I did Katie Kookabra's monthly Zwift ride up the Alp. Up until getting to the last 3 or 4 turns, I was on for a sub hour. I think at a rough guess, I was on for a 55 minutes to 50 minutes, but then the last few turns, my legs fell off and Katie just come flying up behind me trying to catch me, and as I weren't having that, I just decided to put more power down. And I actually achieved a 1 hour and 2 minutes and 8 seconds. Which, let me tell you, I am super proud of that, especially averaging all the way up the Alp 332 watts, which, yeah, never in my wildest dreams thought I'd ever achieved that. To put it into context, my last PR, my previous PR, I did a 307 watts. So going forward for next year, and I think I have got it in there, and it's probably going to be in the next few weeks, I'm going to do another attempt up the Alp, and I'm hoping to go sub 60 minutes, and I'm hoping that I can get Scott from Cycle the Nation to come along and pace me up there, which I'm sure he'll be more than happy to listen and hear me suffer. And when I do that ride, I will be videoing it, because I didn't video any of the other ones. I've been a bit laxy-daisy with my Zwift videos, but I'm going to address that next year. So this year I've not done as many events as I'd have liked to have done. I've only actually done 4. I've done the Cheshire Cat, which was an incredible event, really enjoyed that. Some good climbs, well, one standout climb at the Killer Mile, which was an incredible climb. And it was the first point of testing how my legs had took to training over the winter months, and yeah, I absolutely loved that. Then next was the Tour de Manche, again, another great event, really enjoyed it. My last event of the year was the Manchester 100. Now, it's going to be some time before I do that event again, because if I'm honest with you, I didn't really enjoy it. The roads were crap, it was flat ride, the feed stops weren't very good, and yeah, I've just got better things that I can do instead of going doing that ride. But the standout ride for me this year, the biggest one for me this year, the biggest one I've ever done, and the one that I trained my socks off, and I actually feel like Uncle Albert in Only Fools and Horses the way I always go on about this.
What Rodney needs is a counter worry. You what? Well, if you say during the war, what's more, I'm going to pour this cup of tea right over your head. I wasn't going to say during the war. Well, that's all right then.
But it was earning myself one of these. The Fred Whitton. Now, what an absolute incredible event that is. The scenery, beautiful. The hills, brutal. The feed stops, decent. The people on the event was just really incredible. The crowds that line the route is just unreal, really do spur you on. And going into it, I was absolutely bricking it, because the thing that I never wanted to happen to me was to get to the cut-off points and be turned back because I'd not reached it in time. I was really nervous about that happening to me, and it never did happen. I did get through it. I didn't set the fastest time in the world, but again, going into it, as you'll all remember from earlier on in the year, my goal was to not get turned back and just get to the finish line, which I did. And I'm super excited for doing it again next year. And if you're thinking about doing this event, I'd highly encourage you to just throw yourself into it and just see how you are, because honestly the crowds and everything else, as I've just mentioned, really do spur you on to get there. In terms of my mileage and stuff for the year, at the beginning of the year I set myself a goal for 4,500 miles, which was basically just to beat last year's mileage. That's all I wanted to do, and that's all I want to do year on year, if I'm honest with you. But this year I've just completely smashed it with all the rides what I've been doing, because I've done some incredible rides. I've not come up with any excuses as to why I can't go out and do the rides. I've come up with solutions. So those of you that know me know that I've got a young family, I've got a wife, I've got a job, and they all come before my cycling. So this year, the thing that I've been doing most of all is getting up early in the morning. I've been getting up at like 4:30, a few days a week over the summer period, and just going out and doing my rides before work. All this has culminated in me getting the miles in that I have done this year, and let me tell you, I'm super proud of myself. Although there's something niggling away at me, and I really do want to get to 7,000 miles, but it's just not going to be achievable, that. So everything will be popping up here at the side of me now. Total active days, I've had 283 active days, which is up 23% on 2023. My total mileage is 6,925 miles, which is up 66%, which is a massive jump. My total elevation has been 363,192 feet, which is up 79% on last year. I must have been doing some flat rides last year. And my total time is 507 hours, which is up 70% on last year. So as you can see, I've managed to cram a lot of cycling in this year, and I feel like it's not massively impacted on the family. I hope not anyway, because they have all been super supportive, my kids, my missus. Yeah, it's just been one incredible year. Now, in terms of goals for next year, I could go in and set myself a target of 7,000 miles, but I don't know what's going to happen throughout next year. So my target again is just to beat this year's target. So I'm going to set myself a target of 5,000 miles, and some of you might be saying, why are you lowballing it? Mainly because at the minute my headspace is in a really good, confident place at the moment with my cycling and with my diet and everything else. But last thing I want to be doing is putting pressure on myself to be getting out and doing as many miles as I have been doing at the cost of the family. Cost of the family, is that a thing? Basically, I don't want my cycling to impact upon the family, so I'm just going to go in with 5,000 miles, and then as I move throughout the year, I'm going to up that. Now, in terms of feet of elevation, climbing, I'm going to set myself a target of 400,000, which, if you live in flatlands, might be unachievable, but for me, where I live, there's plenty of hills around me, and it's something that I should be able to do. That's my main goals for next year. Along with that, obviously, I've got my sub 60 Alpe d'Huez, and then I've also got a few local climbs as well that I need to get up at, I want to conquer. So one of them being Church Lane in Hebden Bridge, which is Mytham Slopes, and then also I'm doing the Fred again next year, so I'm hoping to beat 8 hours. Then as well as that, I just want to really enjoy my cycling again next year, because this year has just been epic. So thank you time. Well, first one obviously goes out to Trek at Manchester. For those of you that don't know, I'm a ambassador for them, and for them to show their support and trust in me to become an ambassador for the brand is just, it's spectacular. Honestly, I never in my wildest dreams ever thought that it would happen, and I truly do enjoy doing it. I think the brand's great, I think the product is great, and I'm just a big fan of them, and even more so now that I'm an ambassador for them. And then going into next year, once the warmer months arrive, we're going to be doing some short rides from there. So there's going to be one monthly, probably from either March or April, maybe sooner depending on how the weather is in February. But once that is sorted and announced, I will be posting them on my social media, and I'm super excited to get together with some of yous and go on some rides on my local roads where I absolutely love riding. So the second thank you is to Mark at Revolution Cycle Coaching for his guidance, support and his help in getting me ready for the Fred Whitton. We only had a short window to get ready for the Fred Whitton. We had around 4.5 months, and we done it. But this time I've been working with Mark again since September because I trust him as a coach and I trust that he's building me in the right direction. So we've been working since September, and by the time the Fred rolls round, we'll have had plenty of months training under the belt, and at the moment everything's heading in the right way. But again, thank you, Mark, for all your time and help and everything else that you do with my training. And if any of you are looking for the coach, there'll be a link down below. Go and have a look on his website, and you'll see a lot of reviews from people who've used him, including Katie Kookaburra, who does some absolutely epic stuff. And he's just a general, really nice guy who's really knowledgeable when it comes to training. Now, the next company is Strava Round Built Wheels. I've been on the phone to Darren so many times this year. Now, for those of you that don't know, I've got 2 sets of Strada wheels. I got my first set of them 3 years ago, which have been absolutely bulletproof. And when I was getting ready for the Fred this year, I just decided that I wanted a carbon wheel set. So I spoke to Darren, and he's built me some wheels which are just, honestly, best wheels I've ever rode. I can't explain to you. I want to do a review on them, but it's hard to explain to you. It's hard for me to put into words on how good they actually are, but I promise you, if you was to get a set, you'd totally understand. What I would say, if you're in the market and you're looking at a set of wheels, is just give Darren a ring. That's all they do, is build wheels. And I am the type of guy where I like to go and deal with people who specialise in certain areas. So though most bike shops can build you a set of wheels, they can't really build a set of wheels like what Darren does, because they're just, yeah, they're fantastic. I promise you, just go and have a look at them. Great guy, they're a small business, they're fair priced, and they build a quality product. Now, cycling buddies. So obviously, first one goes out to Scott at Cycler Nation. Now, over the last, so Scott contacted me. Well, we'd been chatting briefly on YouTube earlier in the year, but then he asked me if I could get involved with his Fred Whitton video, his movie, what he made about it, which I'm sure majority of us have seen. I was like, yeah, absolutely. But since then, me and Scott have struck up a real good friendship. So we've got together, we've gone and done rides. He's come down here, I've been up there, and we've got some plans for 2025. But honestly, Scott, you're a great guy, and yeah, thank you for taking your time and understanding, because honestly I go to Scott with some really daft questions, and we bounce a lot of ideas off each other around the YouTube journey, around our cycling journeys, and just coming up with some crazy stuff. And next year we're planning something which we're hoping is going to be an epic ride. And then along with that, we've also got the weight loss support group. There'll be a link to all this down below, which a few people have joined. It's picking up traction, and yeah, it feels like there's something really good going to come out of this. But yeah, thank you, Scott, for being a good mate. I feel like singing a song at the minute. Thank you for being a friend. Then also, there's Mike, Ake, Sean, who you've all seen on the channel. This year we've done some good rides together, and yeah, the three of you, thank you for everything you've done. And then also I want to say thank you to anyone who I've shared the road with this year. It's just been one hell of a journey. I know we've not had the best weather in the UK, but riding with you guys has definitely brightened up my rides. And yeah, I sound cheesy as hell, I know I do, but thank you, honestly. It's been such a wild ride that it's been a standout year for me this year. Then the next thank you obviously comes to you guys. Now, for anyone who's commented, they've liked, they've subscribed, they've been contacting me and messaging me, and it's just been an absolute pleasure, honestly. I love the interaction that I get from this channel. It really does. It makes my day. I don't think I'd probably ride as many miles or do as much riding if I do as I do without the support and with you guys. It's something that I do really truly enjoy doing. And then with that as well, also what I'd like to ask you is what events you have got planned for next year. What challenges are you going to be doing? Is there any rides you'd like to see me do? Is there any challenges you'd like me to attempt? Please do leave your comments down below. I am absolutely 100% interested in what you're doing, and if it's anything local and something that I can make, I will absolutely be there and I'll have a bash at it. Anyway, with that, I just want to say Happy New Year to you all. I hope you have had a great 2024 and I hope you have an even better 2025. And as always, please like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, all that stuff which builds into the algorithm. And until next time, take care, ride safe, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Bye.